My dearly beloved, patriotic Ambazonians, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever God and the ancestors of Ambazonia have taken you. Please share as we are about to begin another Sunday on Ambazonia Press Hour. Thank you to all those everywhere who are joining us today. Continue to share, and when we come back from our brief break, we'll dive into introducing the press secretaries and handling some of the stories that have happened this week. Welcome again. My fellow patriotic Ambazonians, it is January 24th, 2021, and welcome to today's Ambazonia Press Hour, your favorite Sunday 8 p.m. Amba time news program. This is the show where we review statements released throughout the week by our president, Dr. Sako, as well as other current events that have occurred within our revolution, well, actually our liberation. As we are a courageous and honorable people, it is another great day to be an Ambazonian. I'm your host, Dr. Ngwambe, and as always, I'm joined by my esteemed colleagues, the Press Secretary, Dr. Yaya, and Press Secretary, Comrade Walters. My sister, Press Secretary, Dr. Yaya, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. I greet our televiewers. We greet especially Ground Zero, even as we mourn, the death of our children, our youths that were just mercilessly brutalized by the same thugs. We still thank God for being here, and that gives us the more reason to actually push this struggle to the finish line. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you. Comrade Walters, how far?
Well, thank you very much, our famous host, Comrade Dr. Ngwabe. I think it's really a wonderful day of today. We just want to acknowledge our president and also to thank all those who have been consistent to disseminate information through the voice of the presidency. Also want to thank our Ground Zero forces who have been steadfast in this struggle and who have been putting everything possible to make sure that they make the revolution shorter so that we can arrive Buea in time. We also want to acknowledge the presence of each and every one, especially the current activities that are going on at this moment. Each and everyone has demonstrated a high sense of belonging and very active participation, which today we are going to unravel and discuss further. I want just to thank you all that we have the program that usually comes up every Sunday at 8 p.m. Amber Time prompt. Thank you very much, each and everyone, and stay tuned.
Yes, thank you, Comrade Walters. Before we proceed, my fellow Ambazonians, we all know that we are still in a state of liberation. And because of this, I always feel that it's necessary that before we continue further in our show, we give a moment of silence in memory of the people, of our people, murdered by French Cameroon. So let's take a moment of silence for all those murdered by French Cameroon, including the Mautu massacre in Garbu, Kumba, the children that have been murdered in Bamenda in Old Town. Let's take a moment to remember them, please. May the souls of the dearly departed rest in strength. Amen. So now let's get to work. So let's I initially I wanted to start off to talk about the president's audio that he released during the week. talking about the first 100 days. I don't know if Comrade Oben has that teed up for us to listen to quickly. Or do we have teed up the president's message of condolence to the Meta Bamenda massacre, please? Is that ready? Okay.
Yes, that's ready to be read.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ya.
You're welcome. Fellow Ambazonians, my office has been reliably informed of another gruesome carnage perpetrated by the evil forces of occupation from French Cameroon, this time Metaquarters Bamenda. I have instructed thorough investigations to be conducted immediately in this regard. Our anger from this brutality should be transformed into our unflinching commitment to resist and kick out the enemy from our territory, Amazonia. To all the affected families, please accept my sincere condolences. I plead with the community of Bamenda to stay calm and resolute despite the pain. Our spirits remain strong. Rest in honor. God bless Amazonia. Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, on behalf of the President, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, the President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Aya, for reading that statement. You know, when you wake up in the morning every day and you hear the people that French Cameroon has killed, and especially in Metaquarters in Bamenda, and then you're also aware that someone like Cardinal Toomey of the Catholic Church, they're bringing one Cardinal Pietro to come and have a celebration in Bamenda, right next to fresh dead bodies, all caused by La Republic. The same setup that happened just before this African Cup championship started, where French Cameroon went in and killed people, and then they bring people in to come and be celebrating and playing football. There was Cardinal Toomey has been out making some very strange statements. Well, I don't know whether, I'll let you all analyze whether it's strange or not, but the statements that he's making about our struggle, about our liberation. Dr. Yaya, what is up with these religious people who can't truly behave like Jesus Christ, whose faith that they are claiming that they represent? Why can't these people be liberationists, like how Jesus Christ was a liberationist?
Good question. Good question. We hope, we pray that they were, and this is the problem, because we've been brought up to take religion, that's the first thing every family or every child, at least from our generation, was taught, about God, about religion. So we trust that this is the place of goodness. But in modern times, or in recent times, it's not actually the case, because we have seen time and again, although we have good people who actually pursue the purpose of religion, which is meant to be a driver to help assist Christians improve on their spirituality, many a times they've actually fallen short of the expectations. You have the church, which is supposed to be preaching social justice. They are supposed to stand against the ills of the society and set the government on checks in order for them to straighten up. Yet we see a church that is actually bowing to politics, actually taking sides with the oppressor to go against a suffering people, and that actually puts your faith to test. When you ask yourself, what was the picture of Jesus Christ? I thought, servants of God are meant to be followers of Christ, and thus fight, for the vulnerable in society, fight for the poor, fight for the needy. But this is a different story where La Republic government has connived with the church, and we see our top guns like Cardinal Toomey, Bishop Kea, and the rest of them actually changing and swinging spots, you know, to succumb to an oppressive and brutal regime. It's just unimaginable. It's unimaginable. And these churches have grown thanks to these poor churchgoers or church members who take their offerings. I'm not saying all about Christianity is just offerings, but yes, I still remember the picture of my late grandmother, the poor woman who would spend her time grown jama jama, go to the market, sell. But guess what? On Sunday, she takes all of her money to church. That's the only thing that gave her joy. So these poor people have put in and have been invested in the churches, and yet no, there's no one to stand for them. So it's pathetic. All I can say is we have examples. It is possible for leaders to stand because they are not ruled by the forces of the world. If truly they are ruled by God, then they shouldn't have any fear for man. We have examples in a time like Bishop Desmond Tutu. They stood in the days of apartheid. They fought till the end. I am not sure why Cardinal Toomey has chosen to go against his people, why Bishop Nkea has also chosen to go against his people. It is really sad. I think I'll let my able colleague, Comrade Walter, expand more on this.
And to follow up on the
Oh, for
question that
sure.
was, Comrade Walters, when you look at Bishop
Yes.
Kia and Cardinal Toomey, and then you look at some of their other counterparts in history, we think of Mahatma Gandhi, we think of Dr. Martin Luther King, we think of Desmond Tutu. These are people who marched with their people and stood up against power. What message do you think it would show if people like Bishop Kia and Cardinal Toomey actually led Catholic marchers in Yaoundé to Etudi to make the CPDM regime and Paul Biya know that they need to go to the negotiating table? Because in one of his outings, Cardinal Toomey is saying that we, the liberation fighters, are not ready to negotiate or go to the negotiating table, which is ludicrous. We're going to keep fighting, but we're also at the negotiating table. La Republic is fighting and not going to the negotiating table. What effect do you think it would have if Cardinal Toomey led a march in Yaoundé or Douala to the consulate of France or to the presidency of La Republique, and like his other counterparts have done? What effect do you think that would have, Comrade Walters?
I think that the president of Cardinal Toomey and the Roman Catholic Church in general is a very good institution that, if they are quite willing, they can bring a very huge impact with regards to this current crisis. I'm very happy that these men of God are intellectuals who have read and they understand the history and they understand the reality. And we understand that their calling is based on truth and nothing else. If you look at the time of the UPC, Bishop Ndungmo was fighting alongside the people because he knew that what they were fighting for was just. They needed freedom. No one can develop, no one can progress, no future can ever exist if you are not free to carry out your development that will be based from your culture and your tradition in regards to the geographical boundaries that makes up your nation. So there was a time that the Pope even made it clear when there was a threat to Bishop Ndongmo's life that you can kill Bishop Ndongmo, but do not kill my bishop. And Ahijah never did anything to him because he knew about the consequences. Roman Catholic Church is a universal church which is well structured with a central organ that commands what they call a kind of high sense of belonging towards spiritual growth. And I expected them to be one of those people to stand firm in order to bring in a radical change based on justice with what they see. Even for the fact that they have been killing people each and every day. I wonder why someone like the cardinal, who seems to be the highest person in spiritual world in Cameroon within the Roman Catholic world, I cannot understand why He is so inconsistent to take a very strong and radical stand. They went to the Grand Dialogue, and throughout they were preaching about federation. If in their Grand Dialogue in Yaoundé they had even considered them and said, yes, now we know that federation is what you need, and I feel that it's a fine state of government. Check it. But unfortunately, they were disappointed, they were humiliated, they were disgraced, and they were slapped on the face, thereby telling them that you have something like a special statute. What is special statute up to today? Even they themselves do not know. Can they not understand that they are dealing with a devil? Look at South Africa. Desmond Tutu. Bishop Desmond Tutu was very consistent with his people. They fought alongside. You see him weeping because he understands very well that the first priest, when we are talking about the scripture, was Moses, who led the people out of the Egypt. And he said he's coming here. He stood of Almighty Pharaoh and told Almighty Pharaoh, look, I've been sent by God. I'm the servant of God. I've come to tell you, let my people go. I mean, Almighty Pharaoh. If you join all the leaders in the world today as one, they are not matched to the pharaohs in those days. The pharaohs were people whose words goes like arrows. Their words were command. As soon as they blink, the whole place panics. Not only Egypt, they command the world. So you can see the power of God when he sent his servant to tell that Pharaoh that, look, you sit on that throne. When the time comes, I will reduce you to nothing. Even in the book of Kings, it is made clear. I make powerful leaders and I reduce them down to nothing because he is the Alpha and Omega. He is the one who guides you. We are guided by the Spirit. If there is no angels protecting you and I, at any time, Lucifer would have ravaged all of us. So we are not existing because of our power, because of ourselves, but because of the spiritual world in which we live and the guidance we cannot see, but they do exist. So I will urge that someone as Cardinal Toomey and the Roman Catholic Church, which seems to be the biggest church in Cameroon, has a very important role to play. If we are talking about justice and honesty and truth, where have we gone wrong? Were we not a state? Are we not supposed to have our own state? Do they not see what is happening within with their children? Even the Swiss talk that they have called that they should come for dialogue, are they not conscious that all international community have emphasized go to the table for dialogue because that's the only way you can solve the problem? America, Secretary of State of African Affairs has made it clear America is a strong nation, but we did not win Vietnam, so you can't win this war. Conscious of that, why all these deflationary tactics? Gone are those days that you come and frighten people with the Bible. This is because people were not well schooled. They were not informed about what the Bible says. We know about the Bible from Genesis to Revelation and understands what it talks about and what we expect from the Bible. So you cannot come and frighten people again. It's long gone. You remember that when these cruel people came in the name of Freemason, they came and implanted demons and all kinds of siege and yoke on people's neck in Cameroon. So we could not even act. The Roman Catholic Church were there. All what they could offer to the people is Holy Maria, pray for we till the day of Jesus. All those chanting rubbish. Pray. They call it dangerous prayer. You saw when the person came for Martha, they call him the Oko Grandmaster. What happened? He went back and within 2 days he died because he came and met the real prayer warrior when revival came in. So revive that thing. If the idea of Roman Catholicism and the doctrine has made you not to be conscious of what you happen, change the approach. Change the approach. How do you expect us to pay alms? How do you expect us to bring in offering when there is no job? Out of nothing, nothing comes. Let the country become good. Each and every person will be rich and will not only pay alms, we will even give tithes and we will build construction. You should not be taking money and sending to Vatican. No, that's why you are bringing this gentleman here. All our money collected should be used only in Cameroon to develop our country. That's what happened in Britain. If you don't know, they should read what is Glorious Revolution. Stop the influence of Roman Catholicism in our country and looting. Some people even said the first 2 times that the Pope came to Cameroon, he hit the whole country into crisis. And I believe and I supported them. Because when they come, they carry a lot of money. To what? Why go and develop in another place when you have your own place to develop? You are frightened of what? I have talked about this. You think that in those days they will tell you that die what? I'm not going to die now. They will die before me. So don't be afraid of all these things. Be conscious and fight for your fight and stand for your right and make your country what it's supposed to be. Follow the example of other great leaders in the world who have stood with their people. Sorry for
You
being
comment
so
water.
bitter. It's time for us to
No, no,
usher in the right now for the people to hear.
no. I think what you have said, I really like the passion that you're bringing to in everything that you've said, because one of the things that really annoys me about the Catholic Church's stance on this situation is that I don't know if those who are followers of the Catholic faith as Christians, whether especially in Ambazonia and French Cameroon, I wonder if those following Catholicism in Africa, real and in our context, recognize that the Holy See, the Vatican, is a city within the city of Rome, and they have autonomy, they have independence, they have their sovereignty as a city within the city of Rome, meaning that the country Italy cannot violate the sovereignty of the Vatican. Come to the Ambazonia context. French Cameroon has violated our sovereignty. They have taken their troops into our lands. They abuse us. They steal our resources. They don't develop our country, nothing. And then when we want to complain, they kill us, they hang us, they rape our mothers, they burn down our villages. And then the Catholic Church is sitting there and they think that is normal. Inside the New Testament, Matthew, it says, don't do to others what you don't want done to you. Dr. Yaya, what is wrong with the Catholic Church? Why is it that they don't want French Cameroon to respect Ambazonia's sovereignty, but they want Italy to respect the sovereignty of the Vatican? What is this hypocrisy about?
Right. I think what I just wanted to add is that the issue is not just with the Catholic Church, but with the entire religious community. We state the Catholic Church because that's, of course, the biggest and the most influential, in our setting. So let's not get it wrong. The other churches aren't doing anything better. So it's a call to everybody. The Catholic Church just seems to be the pace setter. So the second thing is, in as much as we are frustrated, and for good reasons, we are frustrated with our local authorities because it must start from them. But let's still give peace a chance. We're not fighting Vatican. They are not the cause of our problem, so to say. They can be a facilitator, but they are not the cause. So it's up to us to also fight for sovereignty. And we're hoping that, in this whole setup, despite, the gloominess, that we still have people of goodwill. And that's why we are hoping and really praying, Ambazonians are praying that the Cardinal, who is the special envoy of the Pope, who is currently visiting our territory, will actually see and listen to the people on the ground, not the politicians. That he's actually going to do a fact-finding, he's on a fact-finding mission, and therefore he must meet the right people. If he goes on a fact-finding mission and starts to talk to La Republique enablers or just them or people whose narrative of the story we know, then that visit is immaterial. So we are praying that God will touch his heart, that he's actually going on a godly mission and should seek to know the truth from those suffering on the ground. And this is the message he should actually take back to Vatican, and not the coaxed up message that La Republique has actually given envelopes to people of the church to actually change. So this is my prayer. Let us not, I know the anger is real, the pain is beyond description, but let's channel it to the right place and hope that something good, we pray and hope that something good will come out of this visit. That would be my hope.
I understand. I see a comment on Facebook from someone who says their name is Lillian. She's saying that, remember that the Catholic Church is in this struggle behind the scenes. It's not everything they can bring to the media. Priests and religious brothers and sisters have been killed also. That is true. I do accept that. But at the same time, I expect people like Cardinal Toomey and other religious heads, whether it's the imams, whether it's the Presbyterian church leaders, they need to speak up, because Jesus Christ wasn't keeping quiet. He spoke up. That's all we want. That's all we want. We're not picking on any particular church, we just expect the religious leaders, especially the ones that are at the top, because we know that they're junior level people. Like I see, someone spoke here of a Paul, Archbishop Paul Versekov, and an Archbishop Cornelius Esau, who spoke without fear. You know, these are the junior level people who are speaking. We want the top guys to speak. We want the people like Cardinal Toomey and the others, the head of the Presbyterian Church, who dine at the right and left hand of Mr. Bia, to speak. That's what we want.
Just to add something to what you said. You see, we're like the idea of killing the sisters and even priests is well understood. But you know, these people have this advantage to even come to this level is because there have not been some common front within the Roman Catholic Church. If all of them have stood their grounds, following the right thing, that their mission is to stand for justice, then you will not even have that guts to come in, because you know that divided we fall. It's because of this flip-flopping and this erratic attitude that has made the possibility to open up a window where some of them now come in now to carry out some certain act. But it will build what they call a buffer state within the Roman Catholic Church. It will make it very impossible for them to come in, because they know that there is a strong unity. Very strong unity, and that's what we are asking. Of course, when we point about the Roman Catholic Church, we are not talking only about the Roman Catholic Church. All the denomination, all. That's where we are focusing. But our concern today was mostly because the name Cardinal was receiving another gentleman, and that's not the first time or the second time that they are coming. Even the ambassador of Vatican is in Cameroon. He's seeing all these things. Do they need to come and see what's going on? They have been sending information to them from time to time to understand what is going on. And I feel that it is the role of the Pope to go and see into what is happening and try to bring peace. Why does he not come now? They have been in Cameroon twice when there was no war. Why did they come that time when there was peace? To come and get arms or come and make money? Now there is war. We need you now. Come, Pope, come and tell the gentleman that these people must go their way so that there should be peace. That's what we are talking about. And all the other churches should be conscious about this, because it's a just cause. It's a just cause. So all of us must stand as one. And that's where we are concerned.
Very correct, Comrade Walters. They need to stand with the people. This is definitely a just cause. And as another comment on Facebook is showing that they know the truth, but this is from Doprise. And Doprise is saying they know the truth, but their hands are stained. They ride in cars bought by the government. I mean, this is something that we all know. The government gives, French Cameroon government gives these priests, especially the big name ones, money. We know that. So how can they talk now? Are you going to bite the hand that feeds you? It's difficult for some of these guys, and that's too bad. And that's why we're going to continue to speak them and hold them accountable. Because I bet you, Comrade Walters and Dr. Yaya, if we sin, we as individual human beings on the lower level, we sin, I bet you they'll call us out for our sins. So they should be very quick to and not hesitate to call out the sins of the French Cameroon government. So moving along, let's look, at one of the audios released during the week by President Sako. President Sako, in his audio, he talked about the first 100 days of the new administration of President Joe Biden in the United States and Vice President Kamala Harris. President Sako, in his audio, he was talking about how it is during this period that French Cameroon is going to do everything to show this new administration in the U.S. that things are back to normal in Ambazonia. That's why you'll see he talked about the alumni that are doing, I guess, parties that they're doing in Ambazonia. This cardinal that's coming to visit, this African Cup that's going on. They're trying to show Joe Biden that, hey, let us handle this internally. You all don't need to pressure us to go to the Swiss process. Can you speak a little bit about this audio, Dr. Yaya? What were your impressions of it when you heard it?
Actually, that was spot on. That was really spot on. That analyzed, that put things in context. Because as we've seen in the past, La République has been reluctant to come to a negotiating table to, deal with the issue at the right place. It has to be dealt on an international or in international space with third party being present, because it's an international issue. Yeah, so they've been doing everything to avoid this. They've been trying one trick or another, just window dressing uh, solutions, trying to slow down this process by claiming to the international world that everything has gone back to normal. That's why you see all those pockets or those envelopes. They go through all different kinds of means. You have parties being thrown here, extravaganzas, nightclubs, and all of that. Some of those things, most of those things, are actually not our people. You have a mixed population. We actually saw audios or videos of military men, military thugs from La Republic dressed in our traditional juju regalia, but having a gun at the back. So all these schemes, thankfully, have been exposed, and the international world is wiser today, and that's the main message that I picked from the president's audio. That also relates. I'm sure we're going to go to the topic of the Chan and the assessment of how we did and all of that, but I'll wait for that time. So in a nutshell, again, La Republique is at its usual game, to try to do delay tactics and prove to the world that everything has come to normal, but that is not true. We can, yeah, maybe I may end there and then hand over to. Oh, we can see Reverend is on. That's great.
Oh wow, yeah. This is one of our special guests, Reverend Leonga, who is an HSS rep, involved in humanitarian affairs for our people. Ambazonians, taking care of Ambazonians. Hey, Reverend Leonga, how do you know? You did?
Yeah, good evening. I'm sorry for the late coming because of some technical issue. Technology is not always by our side, but I think what I brought here is a message of consolation and hope for our people. So I want our people to read on the book of Revelation, talk about the age of Revelation. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, but breaking a bit.
I'm audible.
Yeah, but there's some breaks. Maybe you can be louder.
The weather here is so windy. Yeah. I said I brought the message of consolation to our people. We have the lady of Revelation, the lady of the strange with the child, and the devil went to snatch the child, and we have the image of that lady. To be a mother, Mary, and we see the struggle in putting forward our Lord Jesus Christ. From the we are just must we know the persecution of the innocents of which Ambassador are passing through such a situation, and like the Israelites who passed through Egypt, it wasn't easy. But what I'm telling my people is that the darkest hour comes before the dawn. We should just still be steadfast in our prayers, steadfast in our hope, steadfast in our reliance, and those who have something to do, please they should do. And then what I would call on people to, for all of us to be united, because you see that when we are not united, we give the enemy a chance. We saw what was going on in Sako, and I think if both camps can come together as they are doing now, problems, because I personally try to talk to each of them to try and concentrate, and I think with that, everybody now, we can see that if we're united, we'll bear more fruit. So I'm calling on every Ambazonian, it's for us to be united, even though we always have people who have other intentions, but if majority of us stand for the truth and then to see that our people are free, I bet you the Lord is by our side. What I'm telling the people is that the Lord is by our side. That is why for all these years, they have not been able to defeat us, and for all this year, our people have been resisting. And we pray the Lord to open the doors, like Comrade walking of the visits to the Cardinal. I've tried to make some calls, and I think it's just for us to also try to give a story. That notwithstanding, man is a political being, and you see, he himself, he's going there as a diplomat, even though as a religious, and the diplomatic language is always trying to respect certain things like an authority in place, sovereignty. They just can't just do things like that. And then what we have to understand also is that our Ambazonian is still under the Cameroon Episcopal Conference. So it is impossible that they can do anything without passing through the National Episcopal Conference. And up to now, Cameroon, we are still having one non-apostolic who is in charge for the Cameroon Episcopal Conference, who is like the ambassador to the Catholic Church in Cameroon. And there is no way a dignitary will leave Vatican and go maybe to Bamenda without using those protocols, without going through Yaoundé. And in such a case, you know, La Republic will always want to even show their own concern by even trying to show normally like a diplomat to send guards and things like that. So we should be conscious of those things. But for these days, we are trying to do some findings to know actually how things are going to move through, and not much. And we just believe and we hope, because what I will assure you is that the truth is known in the Vatican, because we have not been sleeping. We have made sure everything, every document that is needed to be sent there has been sent. So let's just hope that even the visit will be a positive visit, because we have not been sleeping since 2017. We have been doing everything possible. So our people should also be in prayer, and we should not relent our effort in twittering, in writing emails and calling, because the war is on all sides, spiritual, physical, and we should not forget the media and all these Twitters and emails can do. If I alone should write, it might not be taken into consideration, but just imagine 1,000 people writing within an hour to a particular person. They will take it very seriously. If there are any questions, I'll be back.
You know, Reverend Leonga, thank you so much for joining us and for coming to inspire our people and to let us know some of the things that are going on, that and giving some direction about some of the things that we can do. You know, I have a question for you. You know, this week in the United States, we remembered the life of the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We celebrated him on January 21st. So Dr. King, Reverend Dr. King, because he was a reverend also, Dr. King taught us that if a man hasn't found something to die for, then he has not found something to live for. Reverend Leonga, as the Cardinal is coming to Ambazonia, to Bamenda, what do you want him to know about Ambazonians and what we are fighting for? What is the takeaway message about what we are fighting for, what we have decided to die for, that you want him to know?
Well, as I told you, I have not had a particular insight on this visit, but what I got was that because the Archbishop of Bamenda was made an Archbishop, and when you are elected an Archbishop, you are given what they call pallium. Pallium is the symbol of authority, and he was supposed to come here last June or July to receive the pallium, but it wasn't possible because of the COVID. I think one of the mission of the Secretary of State is to go and install the pallium to him, which will give him the symbol of authority over the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province, which comprises of the Archdiocese of Bamenda, Kumbo, Kumba, Manfe, Boya, and I think those are them. So for the time being, that is primary mission. And then, as you said, Martin Luther King said, as for us missionaries, for us religious, for us Christian, our first preoccupation, because even the Bible says, there's no greater love to show to somebody than to die for the person.
Yes.
If I'm here today, I've gone through all odds. Many people have called me. Some people will say, you are religious, doing this, standing for these people. Our primary mission is to stand for the oppressed. That was the mission of Christ.
Yes.
Our primary mission is to stand for the oppressed. I told people, we rather stand as a layman to fight for my people than to be a priest and with the oppressors. I will rather stand as a layman to fight for my people than be a priest and be for the oppressor. I, for one, can't go back home. And I've taken that as a stand, because anything that is not going, I will point it. I was supposed to go on holidays 2018. I couldn't. You all know my name is among those who are wanted. I couldn't go. This year was also my holiday. I couldn't go back. I have rendered those time of services for my people. 5 years, I'm unable to see my loved ones, but to me, it is nothing as compared to those who have died, as compared to those who are suffering. So it is a Christ before looking as a cardinal or anything, it's a humanitarian call. We all as Christians, we are called to have the love for one another. We are called to have the love for human being. We are called to respect life. I, for one, am for pro-life in all aspects. So I don't see why we should not be able to speak out when things are not going right. So I think it is our duty for all of us. It is a duty for all the priests, a duty for all the bishops and everybody. Speak what is going. Be you whether in whatever, as a priest, as a religious, as a servant of God, your primary occupation is for the well-being of the people. Christ was oppressed, and we are followers of Christ. Christians, Christ said, if you want to be my follower, you must deny yourself. Deny yourself is being ready to die for others. Carry your cross and follow me. You must deny yourself. Deny yourself is deny yourself certain pleasure, deny yourself certain liberty for the sake of others, for the sake of your brothers, for Christ's sake. For whatsoever you do to the least of my brother, that you do unto me. You can't be preaching the gospel when you can't stand for the oppressed. You can't be preaching the gospel when you close your eyes over injustice. What are you preaching? I am always against all those who preach peace. Peace is a consequence of justice. You cannot preach peace. You cannot be preaching, want to neglect justice. Peace is just consequences of justice. When there is justice, peace will come automatically. Take away justice, there will be no peace. Pray for peace for 1,000,000 years and deprive of their sin, there will never be peace. So that is what I'm calling on people. Let us stop this hypocritic call for peace when we want to make justice. We cannot be calling for peace when we are trampling upon justice. And remember, justice delayed is justice denied. Justice delayed is justice denied. And all those who are going to organize peace march, I call them as hypocrites. I call them as professional mourners. I call them as people whose consciences have been bought. They are not going for peace. They are going for a deadly mission. They are killers. They are murderers. They are not standing for peace. You cannot be going for peace when people are being killed and you want to cover it up. Go for justice and peace will come as a solution. Peace will come as a consequence for justice.
Amen.
You know, Reverend Young, you are very, very correct. People can't be calling for peace and they're trampling against justice. As a matter of fact, I even find it very humorous and hypocritical that where most of the peace marches are occurring in Ambazonia. And why are they afraid to go and do peace marches in Yaoundé? Why are they afraid to go march on Etudi or the Palais de Justice there? Because they know they will be killed by French Cameroon. And knowing that they will be killed by Mr. Bia's thugs, they think that we should continue to stay with French Cameroon, where dissent is not tolerated. Massa, I beg. That's why we don't go. We don't go. Let's move on to talk about our efforts to stop Chan, the African Cup of Nations. I'm sure all of you throughout the week, you've been seeing some of the activities that have happened there. It seems as if the hand of God has helped to turn off some lights at this African Cup of Nations. The hand of God has helped to turn the paint of some vehicles into a tarry looking black color. You know, like maybe God sent some lightning down to strike some of the vehicles that we've seen there. Dr. Yeah, what are your impressions of our efforts to through the hand of God to disrupt Chan?
When you talk about the hand of God, I think of the late football legend Maradona. But anyway, in all, I think we should be proud of ourselves. It was a success. It was a great success. I'm sure, when I say that, some people will be nodding their heads and probably saying, no, but we saw people in the fields. Some people attended matches, and, we actually didn't stop the matches as maybe promised or expected. But I'll call them to mind. Even the president last week actually visiting us, when we asked him the question how ready, his restoration forces were on the ground, and he said, of course, he's not going to dish out too much. I think one thing he made clear was that they are going to carry on their business. They are going to carry on with the matches. And let's not forget, we were not. The plan was not to have a confrontation with, a reinforced military that is brutal, that is actually been training for 60 years, to keep us under subjugation. Comparing them to a 4-year-old a group of vigilantes who have sacrificed their lives, graduates who left universities, never had any opportunities, never had jobs, and all of that, who just sacrificed their lives, like Reverend clearly defined what it means. And these men and women, these brave men and women, have actually given their lives for this revolution. So the expectation that we were going to actually stop an army of 60 years versus a young vigilante group of 4 years is was not the goal. Our goal here. So sometimes the fight, like Reverend also said, there are many angles to a struggle or to a fight. It's not the physical fighting. Here, the main message that we wanted to send was to the international world, to tell them that this whole fake sense of normalcy, as La République wants to show them, is actually not the case. The lockdown was pitch perfect. Was respected. When you look at even the matches or the things that happened, took place in our territory, and you compare the pictures with the other matches that took place in, say, Douala, you see a huge difference in the attendance and the number of people who attended. That tells you, or we passed that message that we control our land. We did not endorse these matches. They use their military, brutal might to force to have this in order to prove to you, but look, it's not the same. So that's the message that went through, and to me, that's a big win. I think I'll let my other able panelists explore or say more on that.
Comrade Walters, to follow up on what Dr. Yaya is saying, right? If you look at simple, so let's make it simple for our people to understand, for all of us to understand. This liberation struggle is not something that you win in one fell swoop. Na molo, na bit by bit. It did like achu. No, when you chop achu, it's still you take the whole achu, just take the thing, then dip inside, then janiki, then chop them. No, you didn't go around some one corner, take that one, dip them, chop that side, then go around the other corner. Not so, Comrade Waters. Isn't that how the approach to this liberation struggle is?
No, absolutely, absolutely. You see, just in addition to what Comrade Dr. Yaya has said, and also what the Reverend has said, this fight is actually spiritual as well as physical, media war. In fact, the war is really big. It's not something that one could say this is the only approach. I could even say about 85% of this war is spiritual, because you have a lot of occultic people who come under the guise of peace, and they present a kind of approach where you might feel that they are sympathizing with the cause, whereby they are not. So I want to believe that at this moment that we speak, we have been well schooled throughout this transition, such which that even those who were lacking and those who were not very aware of what was happening, they are now very, very completely conscious of what is going on. If we take the case of like the football that is ongoing, you want to see the hand of God in this particular area, because football is one of those things that brings a lot of people together, both locally and internationally. Good enough, they have brought it to Southwest, and let me say, in Ambazonia land, in the southern zone. The idea was part of those diplomatic scheme to deceive the world that everything has come to normalcy. But now the reverse has become true. A field where players are playing international match, you expect it to be jammed to suffocation. But you see that the field is completely empty. The message has gone wide as people may be asking that, is that not an international football that is going on? Where are the spectators? Then now, in the course of talking, those who were not informed that there was war going in Amazonia, they will now be briefed and they will now be conscious of the fact that this is as a result of war. That's why people are not in the field. But they ask the question, why did you have to risk the life of these players on the first place? So, in fact, that this is a shame even to FIFA. This is a shame even to FECAFOOT. This is a shame to all the international bodies that you understand that this is a war zone and you still come to risk the life of people. It is even a disgrace economically, because just as La Republic want to distort money from the people, they expected that the people of Southern Cameroon will come and pay gate fee where they will use it to buy more arms and attack them. But everybody boycotted the field. The whole street was empty as a result of ghost town called by the interim government. You can see that the people understand exactly what they are fighting for. So it is just a shame, because you don't even need to attack anybody even at this moment. You just need to see that the people have boycotted and the stadium is empty. Even the few remnants that they went and picked in Douala there and smuggled them through the military vehicle, they were just there so confused and disappointed because they were just like standing alone. You don't have that zeal to even feel the presence of a match. It seems as if it's just a training in the quarter. You see, the spectrum that used to come down to you when you are watching a football match and that will disappear like morning dew. So you can really see that they were regretting. And recently, you even saw that in the Republic, they have jumped, they had invaded one sporting administration where they promised that they will give them the 1,000 or 2,000 because they wanted to make the field to the people to feel that they were spectators, but they were deceived. So you see that it's all about corruption from Genesis to Revelation. All the things are not going. And this is the exposure from the spiritual part. You see, they're just making them to the world to see that something is wrong in Amazonia. Something is happening in Amazonia. And tomorrow again is our traditional ghost town. And there is a football that is supposed to take place. You see the coincidence now. So it means that the ghost town tomorrow will be Mami Water ghost town in the whole of Sako, which means that no fly will be passing. And how are they going to? In fact, even the players themselves, can they not be disappointed and say, "No, we cannot continue this shit because it's just humiliating." I mean, football, you expect people to come because it's the time of joy. They come to cheer. They come to discover new players. They come to see that the whole place has been abandoned, which means that nothing is going on. So I think they should realize that something is actually wrong, because they brought this idea to come and make the people to understand that everything has come to normalcy. See the way they are jumping to in happiness. They are moving to ecstasy. But unfortunately, it was a complete graveyard and it's going to continue every day worse. And now that those that they even went and borrowed because they promised in 2000 and they have disappointed them, they have become again disappointed. You wouldn't even see any of them again. Coupled with the ghost town of tomorrow.
You know, Comrade Walters, you know, that's why they say that actually they never make a man laugh, because the corruption way they did that country, you know, how did they talk on for French? Selawanda. you guys know, and then just the level of lies that these people are involved in. You know, Reverend Leonga, I'm asking myself, what message does this say about the state of our struggle when French Cameroon has to transport international football players via armored trucks to go play football? My man, you get for enter armored truck before you want to go play football.
As concerned the so-called Oshang, or how do they put it today, I think to me, I will hold fast to the message of Romans chapter 5 verse 3, which says we should be happy in times of tribulation because trouble brings endurance. And when we have that endurance brings out the hope we have, and the hope we have will not disappoint us. You know, it is when you have a situation, tight situation, that you know your God is able. They say,
Yeah.
who see lucky go Gambia? Now, when you get trouble, where you go Gambia? So, in case of tight situation, that is when we see that, because that is when we're supposed to believe in God. Because if you have everything good, we never have a mission to decide. Somebody will have the choice to either believe in God or to go to success when he's faced with a difficult situation. And in that difficult situation, he will choose God. See, like the case of Job. The devil said, if Job to be sick, if you make Job to go bankrupt, if you make Job to be happy, he will deny you. And that is a similar situation we are being faced. But our reliance shows that God is with us, because to me, it is shame to the African nations. It is a shame to
Yes.
all the participants. And they don't even have love for those players they have sent, because before the sham, I think we made everything possible to call all the participating countries to tell them, warn them about the dangerous situation. They gave a dead ear on it. So I think it's a shame on African nations. That thing cannot take place in Europe, in any European country. They cannot send their players in such a situation. They will never allow their players to lack comfort. You see players being transported in military armor cars. What a shame for African nations, for those leaders. And can their children in such a situation? How many of those head of states even came to participate in that sham? How many of them are in the field to see the situation? But since they are bloody suckers, they don't have love for their children, they care less about the life of those. All they know is participating, they'll have monies in their bank accounts. That's the dead ear over it. But the Lord is still faithful. That's why He has even shown mercy upon some of them. So what I call on my people is that we should believe in times like this that we have a living God, because it has shown, it has so proven to the international community that things are not good. Because those who talk, maybe they will believe on the lies of La Republic. They are saying what is happening. An international mission of that magnitude could have brought in progress. When I saw a communique being sent out announcing the presence of 6,000 military, I said, what is this? Is this not an occasion where they should project their culture, where they should project the union they are preaching, where they should project the invisible, the indivisible Cameroon they are talking, to project all the cultures? What were they projecting? Their military incapability, not even their capability, their military incapability, because despite the fact that they sent all those thousands of military, they were still unable to maintain what they thought they were about to maintain. Shame for Africa. Shame for all those who participated. Shame for all those who allowed their children to go. You see what our people showed them, that we don't do this. Only some few crackers, only some few who depend on us were making video. I don't want to really be calling names of useless people who don't reach a quality to mention them here, making video trying to project an empty stadium, which is not of any standard even, rushing to put things at such a time. What is a shame, because even the stadiums that were projected of no standard, they are not even compared to a community field here. A shame. I think the African nations, indeed, they are a disgrace to humanity. We really need to sit up. Despite all what we preach on, they had no love for their people, no love for their citizens. They still send them to die, like the Congolese, the Togolese. They call them. Remember what happened to him before? Yet they gave a dead ear to it. We'll keep on praying for them that the Lord should show mercy on them.
You know, Reverend Ilonga, you are very correct that it is a shame to the African nations in the way they've conducted this thing. Because I said last week at the end of our show last week that descendants of Africans, that means African Americans, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Europeans, you know, people who've immigrated to Europe and they've given birth to children, we are never going to have the respect that we need because of the countries that we come from are led by some first-class idiots. Big time first-class idiots. I mean, even when you look at even the fact that someone like Samuel Eto'o has not even been able to even utter a word to his French Cameroon government that they need to go to the negotiating table, you begin to realize what is going on and how he should even be feeling ashamed even more. Because when he was in Europe, they threw bananas at him, called him all kind of racial epithets and all kind of stuff like that. And it's just because African leaders like Mr. Biya have not done what is necessary for African people to be respected around the world. That is through the mismanagement of our countries, the mistreatment of our people, brutal killing of our people. And then you see now there's people going to enjoy themselves to play football while right next door people are dying. African people are dying, and Africans showed up to come and watch football. So how is the rest of the world supposed to respect the lives of African people or descendants of Africans if the African leaders themselves don't respect the lives of their people and they're willing to go and play football, willing to be ushering people in armored trucks to go and play stupid football? I mean, it is really, really, really ridiculous and embarrassing the way these African heads of state have behaved. Dr. Yaya, we saw the creation of a commission to deal with the so-called Anglophone problem by French Cameroon President Mr. Biya, and he put Mafane Musonge to be in charge of that commission. And Mafane Musonge said there is no Anglophone problem. So a committee was created to solve a problem where the chair of that committee says there's no problem. During this week, we heard Atanganji say the war is over. The war is over, but they're transporting people inside armored cars to go play football. The war is over, but La Republique insecurity forces have killed 4 children, or 3 children in Meta, 4 children in Santa. Dr. Ya, who the hell is taking French Cameroon serious?
Well, the same question. Like last time, a thief acts like a thief, speaks like a thief, smells like one, and yeah. So, not surprised, not surprised at all. So, I don't think. I think the good news
are you
is
saying
that
that are you saying that Atanganji is wearing eau de bandi? You know how they call these
he's been
perfumes
a
now?
prisoner. If I'm not mistaken, he has been an inmate in the prisons before.
Yeah.
So that just, I think that's his CV, the best I know. I really care less about such people because I just think it's a waste of time. But unfortunately, these are the tools that actually are used to perpetrate the brutality on our people. Should we waste so much time talking about them? It's a shame. And the day of reckoning is coming. This is my belief. So such people will be dealt with. It's important for us to stay on our course. Yes, we have to know who the enemy looks like and know their tactics. But what do we have to do? What do we really have to do? Because they are doing everything. Of course, they are failing, but they're really putting in a lot of energy. And if we were not working so hard and respect to our Ambazonia Restoration Forces on the ground who are doing an excellent job, yes, they might convince, or it might take a little longer to actually get people to know the story. Remember, it's taken 4 years. 4 years ago, no one listened to us. We were standing in front of all embassies, marching in the rain, in the winter, what God knows what. No one actually mentioned our name. But today, and slowly, we've come to this a stage where we are the topic on so many foreign or international platforms. So let us concentrate on doing what we are doing and do it so well. And that is just going to melt down whatever the enemy, the tricks, the carelessness, the careless tricks of the enemy, whatever they are trying to do. So that brings me again back to the president's audio this week, which he expressed a lot of gratitude, to the Ambazonian people for actually supporting Fako as our national territory, because this so-called sham, it's a sham of a chan, whatever it's called, was a huge provocation, an attack on our sovereignty, on our capital territory. And Ambazonians have come out in great colors to show their love for country, their oneness, to face this problem as a national emergency because it concerns our national capital. So we've had, huge fundraisings going on, and we can see the generosity of a lot of Ambazonians from all corners of our territory. And the president is very, very grateful for that, and is still asking and pleading that we continue with this spirit of generosity and togetherness, despite some differences or misunderstandings. So after Chan, there's going to be another trick. We have 11 February, which is coming just not road, and they will still be doing their of trying to militarize the whole zone and faking marches to say that the youths are actually celebrating this fake day, or whatever they celebrate on that day. So yeah, let us concentrate and keep doing the right things, and that is our restoration forces. To know what they have to do and be right with their communities, in order to kick out and to get them heads on against each other. And then for the diaspora, we just have to fund this revolution and put in our might, all our strength, as if today were the last day, because we really want to bring this suffering to an end. But it can only end through justice. And that's why we're waiting for La Republique at the table at the Swiss talks. Thank you.
Yes, correct. Doctor, you have to piggyback of a statement that you just made about the restoration forces being right with their people. Comrade Walters, we got a report where the Secretary of Defense, Bishop John, he was speaking about an issue in the Nguti LGA where restoration forces were evicted by the people of Nguti. What do you have to say about that, Comrade Walters? What message do we send to the communities and to our ARFs about the need for them to be of one mind, one spirit, one body, that they need to work together, they need to take care of each other, they need to have each other's backs? What can we say about this, Comrade Walter?
I think what we should understand here is that it is just a handful of, or some bundful of clowns and buffoons who came out to demonstrate some kind of action which we consider irrational. And the influence came from their so-called elites who are taking refuge in Yaoundé, in the colonial capital. What we have to tell those people is that just know that these people who come there with this their blood money and confuse you with it, you have two things that you will regret. One, that blood money that you are taking is a money that you can do nothing with it. Anything you do with that money will haunt you, because the purpose of that money is to even kill you. Just like the evil world headed by the Lucifer, who comes with clear mission to steal, to destroy, and also to eradicate. So the issue here is that these people who comes up and carry out this act, how are you going to hide yourself when the so-called elite have escaped to their refuge in Yaoundé? How are you going to go to the market? Are you going to go with the armies? How are you going to go to the church? Are you going to go with the armies? How are you going to go to your meeting house? How are you going to go to the farm? The restoration forces are all over. And if you try, know very well that they know who is doing what, and they shall put you to the right position where you belong. Because this fight, whether you are in or you are out, all of us will pay the same penalty. So no need pretending that you are on the fence or you are struggling to show that you are not there. The Republic does not consider that. They consider all of us as enemies. That's why we even pity those who have laid down their arms and go and take refuge in a nonsense place they call DDR. They are just fattening them, just as you fatten chicken, and then when the time comes for Christmas, it is more bigger. Then you can now enjoy it. That is exactly what they are doing to those people. Since they took them there, that they are going to help them, how many camps have they been able to put down? How many restoration forces have they been able to shoot down? They are just confused. And since then, you can see the confusion very clearly as the so-called Minister of Territorial Administration, if at all he is still there, Atanganji, made a very big statement that we have won. You won war. How can you win a war when the mayor of Bali has escaped to an unknown destination to take refuge? How can you, if you won the war, why is it that the mayor of Bafut has escaped somewhere in another region to take refuge? How can you win the war when the mayor of Bamenda has escaped somewhere? How can you say you won the war? If you won the war, then there will be no need for these people to run away. I just want to make them to understand that the same thing that is making those mayors to run away is the same thing that the Amba boys too as they're asking them to open or to go out on the street on Monday, is that same thing that is making them to not to go to the street, because there is the same people that are chasing all this so-called mayor in our land that they were not elected, they were appointed. So we are now sending a message to the people of Nguti that listen, the restoration forces have the power to live from one area to the other. There is a cooperation, which means that if you try to terrorize the people, even there in Guti, be ready that the people, the restoration forces from Bali will march in there and reinforce it and bring you to order. If you try that, there will be reinforcement from every angle. Don't forget that even those in diaspora, we are still there to pump in all the finances and the resources that they need in order to continue this battle to the final end. So do not waste your time that you are coming out to fight the restoration forces, because first of all, they are invisible. And after that, when they take note of you, you will pay the price, because this is a thing that we have to fight for. Every nation fought for. Even the strongest nation in the world that you call the United States, they fought for their own. They went through all these things. And we all can see now that everybody wants to rush there because they feel that it's a good place. If they didn't fight, will you be running to where? Look, fight for your own home. And this is the time. If you dispute with me, go and listen to Priest Nico Mbaga. He sang the song. If you told the whole world, no matter what you do, your home is the last place that you go. And that place is what you call home, and that's the best place. Isa Bombela Ibeja. That was his hometown. Let me give you the cue of that song. Go back in YouTube, it's there, black and white. Just tap it and you enjoy it and you understand what this philosopher was singing. He was telling you that there's no place in the world like your home. And you can only be at home when you put it now in order so that it suits for human habitation, food, good for progress. And there is no other way than giving your own contribution in kind, financially, and through other means in order to persuade this war. So I'm advising those people in Guti and adding my voice to remind them that, listen, the situation where they go on for there, they should be very, very careful. And this should be the last time that a thing like that should happen. Let them just, because they should understand that these elites are not there for any good cause. The roads are not there. The elites are there. There's no pipe-borne water. The elites are there. There are no good schools. The elites are there. There are bad hospitals. The elites are there. There is nothing. I mean, what are you supporting people who themselves do not even have? Out of nothing, nothing comes. You cannot give what you don't have. So you just need to understand that and understand that these are scammers who are just coming to come and create impression and then go back to Yaoundé. If they actually love you, let them come there and tell you, ask them that you're asking us to go attack the restoration forces. What is it that you are giving to us that we can sustain ourselves? Because I think they are fighting because they had a just cause, and this is the reason why they are fighting. Even when Jesus Christ told Peter that stop that fishing, he did not tell him that just stop. He said, when you stop it, I will make you fishers of men, which means that he replaced something. What are they coming, the elites, what are they coming to replace to you? That I'm forcing you to send people to go and attack the restoration forces. However, I know very well that in those days the restoration forces used to have mouth and just mouth and let me say peace plan and then guns. This time, let me tell you, they have rare guns. So you can now know what you are doing. And be careful. And more sophisticated arms are coming, and we're going to supply it to Nguti. So be careful.
You know, one thing I'll tell you, Comrade Walters, that you are very correct in the sense that if you need to fix up your own home. You know, there are times like that when down where I look 11 our October 1st celebrations, and I see the condition and where our people did march in. You see road where not only dirty, where they should say like probably never go tar anything for day. All the time we don't deal with them. No development, all that kind of thing. And then you see the elites there. They come to the trap of confuse people that made it stay in that continuous mess. It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense to me. My own request, and I say, may the restoration fighters, may when I day and keep a good reputation with the people that you try for defend, and then the people them for that area, may when I find a way for get in a good relationship with the restoration fighters. All we did together. That's the thing where I want to. All we did together. Reverend Leonga, in a way, continuing with what Comrade Walter has said, we be see for Bamenda, people that be at that market, they be speak very boldly to French Cameroon about how it be foolish. Said that appointed mayors one may they start open back shops on Monday, which they know say Monday now our country Sunday now. When the root causes of why our people know they open that shop, then they know yet be resolved. If you see all the window dressing where La Republic they do, where they try for organized Chan, they leave missions, secondary schools where they get francophone for the organized party them. They bring the cardinal where they try for show say thing and be normal, where they no one address the root causes of the issue. Reverend Leonga, when you sweep dirty under rug instead of throwing it away, who side that dirty truly go? You'll come back no on how. It seems as if we've lost Reverend Leonga. Dr. Yaya, are you there to answer that?
Yes, I'm
question?
there, but I can see Reverend.
I'm
I can see
here.
him now.
Okay, Reverend.
I'm here.
You hear the question? You hear the question, no?
Are you getting me?
Yes.
So maybe you could
How?
repeat the question.
Okay, so Reverend Leonga, the question I'll be asking, I said,
Yeah. Are you
we be
getting
see
me,
our
Dr.
brave people.
Ngwambe?
Yeah, we be
Okay.
see our brave people for Bamenda, where they be come out now for open market, especially that brave woman, that brave our brave brother, where they be stand up now. They tell that mayor them, say how would I want me with open back market when I know the reason why market they closed. And then I be talk say as you see how La Republic the travel do everything for give the impression say think they don't go back to normal where they know they solve the root causes for why we even they for the fight. And my question I said time when you sweep dirty on that
Yeah.
rug, the dirty don't disappear or
I
it still
got
get for
you,
come back.
and okay, I got you, and as I said, I would like to always try to link every situation of our struggle biblically. And if you look at Psalm 26, verses 4, it says, I do not keep company with worthless people. I have nothing to do with hypocrites. I hate the company of the evil and avoid the wicked. Lord, I wash my hands to show that I am innocent and march in worship around your altar. So that is what we are and we should be. That if today we stand up to fight for our liberation, because to avoid all these things. Some of us studied in the public system. I invested in the University of Douala. I spent 5 years there. I did law and political science. And then after that, even when I joined the missionaries, I worked. Before joining the missionaries, I taught in Douala for 8 years. And then even when I joined the missionaries, I joined them in Douala and I stayed there for 11 months before going to another French country. Then spent 3 years before coming to Italy. And the system is really, as I said, I do not keep company with worthless people, with wicked people. I've washed my hands to prove my innocence. And that is the meant to pass across to every Ambazonian. We should show how worthy we are everywhere we go, whatever we are called to do. I'm calling on those giving responsibility, their LGAs, in their counties. Show that you are responsible, show the justice, show the accountability. Those who are for HSS, show the accountability. They can. Many people can testify whatever I touched in HSS, I showed, even with video proofs, everything that made many people to be motivated. So I'm calling on each Ambazonian, wherever you find yourself, go at the service of your people. Do not be in the company of the wicked. Do not be in the company of the embezzlers, of which we are trying to run away from them. And that is the message I'm calling upon our boys to also show maturity. We know it's not easy. We know what they are going through. We know the courage they have put in to go into the bushes to be fighting. But what we call upon them also to show love and respect to those they are fighting for. Because if they are there, it's for those population. And if God has protected them up to today is because they are standing for their people. If they should fight against their people, God Himself won't be with them. Because in Psalm 28, verses 1, it says, "Listen to my cry. If you do not answer me, I will be among those who are down to the earth." That is the cry we are crying to God, to listen to our cry. And if the Lord is with you, you won't be dead. So we call upon our boys. They should also show love and respect people. Let our people not turn to the enemies for refuge, because we have had some cases of misuse of the authority, of the powers they have, and I think they should try as much as possible to make sure they show the love for the people, and that is where the power is. That is where God will bless them. That is where the ancestors will give them the go ahead. But if we stand against our people, because we are for this trouble because of our people who are suffering, some of us will never go back home to go and fight for a position. I'm a missionary, and my mission is not even found in Cameroon or in Amazonia. So I'm based missionary here. Some of you have made it outside, but if we are fighting this for those people who are suffering back there, for those people who are down to earth, how can we put our own people in suffering? So this is the time we call on our boys to also show maturity, so that when we are standing, because if I'm to project the brutality of La Republique, it's because I'm trying to come with clean hands, as the equity maxim goes, that he who comes with equity must come with clean hands. So that is what I'm calling on us all, to project that purity, to project that innocence, that holy innocence in us, and with that we shall succeed. Everybody should put his own effort, and we should not be fast in trying to conclude things, but we should be steadfast in our justice. We should call a spade. If you see a brother doing something which is not wrong, it is not covering him in all situations that will make us reach our destination. We should be honest. We should be honest in whatever we do. If I see you, Dr. Ngwambe, doing something wrong, I call you behind. I say, what you are doing is wrong. I keep on doing it, then I think I will cover you because I'm leading the struggle down. If I will find you doing anything fishy and I've tried to talk to you as a brother, you don't want to turn up, to come on this same media and denounce you. That is what we should stand for, the justice and the fighting for. If you find me doing anything fishy, call me. If I refuse to show that face, one or two, three people, if I refuse, denounce me. We are here to denounce evil in all its aspects. Be you who. So that is what I'm calling Amazonia. Let's stand for justice, for truth in every circumstances. Whether who is denouncing you, we should stand for that. And that is where we can separate ourselves from these people. That is where we can separate ourselves from these people, like the guy who has invented the new plural form of voices. That is the only way we can, because if we behave like them, we'll become like them, as Dr. Eya said. We'll be smelling like them. We should have our own body odor. We should have our own perfume, which is righteousness, which is standing for justice, which is trying to denounce whatever is not going good. Even be it our boy, we should tell them what people did like it was not good. We should not be encouraging them in doing things which will betray our cause, which will betray our God-ordained cause. Point out the thing. That's why I pay homage to late Honorable Daniel, because he did a lot in that aspect. He formed what we call an anti-kidnapping squad, which we were working together with him. When people reported kidnapping cases, we tried to do everything to find out where they were taking place and in which we rescued a lot of people. I cried the day I got he died, because when he created that forum, just the two of us were at me, and when he died, they called me over a case I could not even just take the courage to go. So stand for that justice. We should stand to help our people. We should sustain our people. We should stand to see that our people also feel the love. That's what I call the boys. Show the love for the people. That will feed you, that will protect you, and you will win without.
Reverend Longa, you are very correct. We cannot be fighting for justice. We cannot be fighting for justice and liberty, and then we're committing it against injustices against each other. The people of Nguti do not commit injustice against the restoration forces. And the restoration forces, you also cannot be fighting to liberate our people from injustice, and then you're committing injustice against them. Let us be a just people. Let us be an upright people, so that when we get to our restored independence, to our restored sovereignty, we'll be able to look on each other and be happy that, hey, we all were doing the right thing. I mean, because the record is being taken. I mean, President Sako has said it before. I mean, with all these devices everywhere, records are being taken of what everybody is doing, what everybody's role was in deliberation. If you were behaving dishonorably, that is on record, and we will, you will be dealt with accordingly when the time comes. So, Dr. Yaya,
Yes, sir.
back to you again. We heard the Honorable Emily Thornberry of the British House of Commons, who spoke in that British legislative body, lamenting that how can Britain be entering into business deals with French Cameroon without leveraging that Mr. Biya's government needs to go to the negotiating table and stop the acts of violence and genocide against Ambazonia. Dr. Ya, we see that the Western powers, even China, Russia, they are more concerned about business, about securing their business interest, about protecting their business interest and their outlets to making money for themselves. My question to you is that what can we as Ambazonians do? I know we need to beat up La Republic. Well, we need to bloody their nose, but what can we as Ambazonians do to show the international community, the international business community, that we are trying to create a country that will be stable, that will respect laws and justice, where their investments will be protected, because there will be no need for there to be a war like what is going on in our part of the country now. What can we do to convince the international community that we are going to be a stable business environment, Dr. Ya?
I think, we know that the world runs on, interest. People, get involved in things or projects based on their interest or what they gain from these things. But we are now seeing, a change in paradigm, or a shift, so to say, where the entire world is coming to that consciousness of humanity. And we've seen this wind of change, with the Black Lives Matter. We saw the recent American elections, and the new face of an American government that has never been with so much diversity. That these have been ills of the human society that have persisted for centuries. So all I can say is there's time for everything, and the time is now. It is for us. It's up to us to keep on, to maintain our resolve, believing in our cause, which is just. We know it's just. They know it's just. Sometimes you can be told a story so many times, or you can be told a lie so many times to the point where you start to believe, although you knew that was a lie. And because you've heard it so many times, it starts to sound like the truth. So it is up to us to keep on telling our story, to keep on acting in confidence and authority, and keep on treading those grounds, those diplomatic arena, and putting our case forward until the day when God shall choose that it is time for Amazonia to be free. And we're getting close to that day. So what can we do? We just keep being better at what we do. In terms of the diaspora, keep on contributing to foster this revolution. The diplomatic offenses are being carried out by necessary parties. And we're asking, like Reverend said, our restoration forces to be at their best, and the world sees that we actually caution. Although we don't have the terrain, we don't have the stability to train a proper army, we are actually working with our restoration forces on certain codes of conduct. We expect discipline, we expect respect for authority or the chain of command. So I think they can see the traits already. We just haven't taken our land over. And I'm sure they know, because we have been a state before. We have had those institutions. We were stable. We had, we created employment. We had all those institutions that actually create economic stability for any nation. It's not about numbers, because you've heard this funny excuse given at times, Southern Cameroon is a very small country, or the population. It's not about the population or the size of the land. What about Northern Ireland, for example? They don't even have any resources, so to say, natural resources. they are well functioning a country, based on their human services and all of that. So we are a rich country, rich naturally, rich intellectually, rich in every aspect. So, and they have dealt with us in the past. We have had governments that were stable. You mentioned the other time that, in fact, in Africa or West Africa, we were one of the countries where there was a change of power so many times without any unrest, like you even saw in a very advanced democracy like America recently. So I don't know what else they need to know. And they know that we are people who know exactly what we want. It's just a matter of time. And when that time comes, everything is going to work for our good.
I agree with you, Dr. Ya, 100%. Like I always say, Ambazonians, we are very honorable and just and upright people. We're going to be that shining nation that all other African countries imitate when the time comes, as you have rightfully said. Uh, let's see. Call all our viewers. I'm sure you can see the phone number down below the screen that's running in the banner. We've got about, let's say, 16 minutes, 15, 16 minutes left in the show. If you want to make a call and to contribute, please do not hesitate to call and let us know what you're thinking. Yes, please do not hesitate to call. Comrade Walters, let's go over to you. I want to follow up with something that Dr. Yaya said about peaceful election handover. We saw in the United States the peaceful transfer of power from President Trump to President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. In the society where you live, Comrade Walter, what are some of the things that you have observed that make fair elections and peaceful transfer of power possible there where you are, that you would like to see us incorporate in Ambazonia?
The thing is
When the
that
time comes.
the very first thing that makes a transition very possible is based on the structure in place and what we call principle of balance of power, where each institution, based on the structure, has its autonomy that runs the nation for common interests. The judiciary should be independent. The legislature should be independent, as well as the executive. So in this case now, we know that all these arms of government, in regards to all the other institutions that form up a state, they have their autonomy, but they have what they call hierarchy. This will mean, therefore, that no person can just come as one single person who in the French system used to call themselves État c'est moi. État c'est moi will mean that I am the state, which means that I have the order to give orders to the parliament. I have the order to give orders to to give orders to I have power to give orders to the Senate. I have the power to appoint and dismiss minister at any time of my choosing. I have the power to appoint any person without the person passing through any verdict or checking his background. I have the power of everything. So it becomes a one-man state. Through this way, how can you even talk about the issue of transition of power? It's impossible. But when there is a structure in place, there is no possibility that there can be some kind of a supreme God that can come up within that country just to override everybody, because the institution holds you in order. And that is what I have learned within the time that I have lived in the West. You see, if you take the case of Southern Cameroon, it is not indifferent. We had a well-structured organization. We had a well-built state, such which that at any time, no other country, no other person can overwrite the order. This explains to you why there was a very peaceful transition between Indele and Dr. Indele and Dr. Jongu Foncha, without any bloodshed, without any squabble, with nothing. This is because we had a well structure in place. And this institution, unfortunately, was deliberately destroyed by the same people we want to send them out and bring back our value to put it in order for us to enjoy this harmony and a good atmosphere. So we are really making the whole issue here is just to draw the attention of each and everyone that listen. We are going to create an environment that is suitable for all. If people want to come and contribute, if people want to take part, of course, there is no country that will exist without partners. We need to have partners, and that's what we call cooperative partners. Not partners of exploitation, but partners for cooperation, so that it should be something for collective interest. I think we have one scholar here before I continue. Let me just give the chance to the caller.
Even same
Hello?
here. I have a caller on the line on this side.
All right.
Go ahead.
Mr. Daniel, I'm calling from Helsinki, Finland.
Yeah?
I just have a question to the different panelists. This issue of La Republique killing civilians, our civilians, Amazonians, and we are just there most of the time crying. Why is it that our own people cannot put a hit on their own civilians, on La Republique civilians, as well in Amazonia? This is justice. They keep on killing us, and we are just folding our hands and crying and the rest. And in that, no ever be touched. So are we really real with what we are fighting? Even God alone knows that this is not justice that we are doing for ourselves. So I need a reply to this question. Thank you very much.
Yes. Let us go to the next caller. I think there was one other caller again that was calling at the same time. So I hope that the caller, okay, is right here. Just a minute before you. Hello? It seems as if we missed this caller. It was on ground zero. Yes. Okay, the caller is calling. Just a minute.
Okay.
Please, you are on. Please, can you speak?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, comrades.
Evening, comrades. He's calling from ground zero. I can see from the number.
Yes, from Bamenda, precisely.
Thank you.
Hey, Walter, put the phone down lower, because you show the money number.
I want to cue directly with the caller that just stopped. Yeah, I want to support what the last caller just said.
Yeah.
It is inconceivable that these people have been killing us here since 2017, and we just cry out, we just fold our seat. Our phones are going around with their business. It's on record that continue to buy houses and long and life access here. They continue to kill our people here. We just cry for our seat and look at them like that. It is very, very inconceivable. I don't know what is wrong with us about this one. These people continue to Francophones live peacefully in our midst, support their terrorists to go about cause havoc, and we do not do them, and we want to reach where it is very unrealistic. Anyway, what I actually wanted to say was concerning those churches, those pastors, those so-called men of God. I'm very surprised that the activities are a surprise to people. Nobody should be surprised about the activities of those people. These people, when you call them men of God, it is a great sacrilege because you are associating criminals to God Almighty. These people are graduating criminals of the first order. They are tools of Lucifer. I take responsibility for that sin. Until we become realistic and deal with them for what they are. What am I emphasizing about? Is it not clear? Do their actions not speak clear that they are in support of the criminals that are trying to destroy us? The actions are clear. And you call them men of God, and you listen to them, and you expect to get something from them. No, we must become very, very serious. These people are enablers. Yes, to be blunt, they are enablers. The so-called pastors. It baffles me what people go to the churches to do. It baffles me. It's not criminal. We must think. Look, we have lost more than 15,000 people. All the villages. We are not taking chances with any criminal that call themselves whatever. And then a message to people like Ataki, that is the inventor of voices. This message to Mr. Voices. Nobody can stop Amazonia. Nothing can stop Amazonia. Yes, it's just a matter of time.
Thank you.
Amazonia must be. Give me a few minutes.
Right.
Waters.
Sure.
A few minutes.
All right.
Yeah. Excuse me. I want to emphasize on the point that, because doctor just asked a question about the reaction of the international community. The international community will do nothing if we not take the bulls by the horn by ourselves. That is as simple as that. We must do it ourselves, and then they'll come in and take it to the finish line. That is it. We need. I'm in touch with many boys, many Amazonian boys who want to join this fight, but they are not convinced about the weaponry at their disposal. They are not convinced about weapons. And that is it. We need weapons here. We need weapons. We need RPGs. We need rocket heads. Throw these demons out of here. And that is the situation. That is true. Let me go outside. Thank you very much.
Thanks, comrade. There is one other caller calling also from Ground Zero again. I think that I could not pick that call because the comrade was really saying something very sensitive and very educative and very important. But we have taken note. I think what we could do is that we just get some few points and then before we can expand on them. All right. Welcome, comrade. You are live.
Yes, good evening.
Evening, please.
Yes, I'm talking from Meme County.
Excellent. You're welcome, please. Make it snappy.
Yes, thank you. And then we talk about the how when I talk. So for my own idea, I found when I talk show. This boy that so for the last conference they just talk about saying no. Say with God everything is possible and then they put God first for everything. Because I believe if they put God first for everything will take its own shape and God will hear our prayer. The way they put God first, now they embarrass the citizens, they make the fish very bad. I think not talk the last time we just talk the one about waiting. When they take note say God gave at home. This thing a revelation from God, not a human being. So make them take note say or cry then for God. When they take the cry again, we cry for God, then they say put up for us skin. Then when you are hard to worry with the vex.
Excellent.
Anything you want to see and seek God first and everything will be alright. So that's all we really beg on us. More really call them for order. Say at least this thing is from God. Don't mean you might not we will start, not that we will get and God. So that means when you walk on top of it, that the little men that won't hear plenty things.
That's right.
So I just thank you now. Thank you from the country. Good night.
Right. Thanks very much, comrade. Doctor, I think we have been able to have some number of color and respect to the time that is almost running out. I don't know if you would mind for us to expand on some of the questions that they have just asked. But then again, there's one scholar, and this is from 1-0. I think that's very important for us to listen to them. You are welcome, please. You are loud and clear. Hello?
Okay, I call from Ground Zero.
Oh, excellent. You're welcome. I welcome you.
Elias, I call from Ground.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I get something at the one time or there about poison.
Okay.
Yes, the one for talking me when I try for advice and send me the put effort for training me the law of belief for medicine.
Excellent.
So when you believe over medicine, hello?
Yes, we listen.
Yes, when you believe over medicine, it will fail you because when you they get for embrace God, then they put over effort for training because even they fight like the public and they see the mistake the way like the public big one. When they come out, they will believe say they get medicine when nothing will happen for them. They will see say they don't keep fight for your house, they don't keep fight for nightclub because they believe say medicine to help. When medicine not help. the thing that I want to.
Very, very important.
For the work way they do.
Thank you
Yes.
very, very much.
I'm
Yes.
happy for the work we want to do for ABC when they do.
Thank you very much. Point noted. All right. Have a good Sunday.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that we'll be very happy because the scholars they call all from ground zero and exactly where we need them because mostly from ground zero all the same and exactly where we really expect them because now ground zero be the place where all we focus on and so we really this program actually forget a direct contact with them because this program now directly link with the presidency where the house where we all they pay allegiance to and from there way we all the share idea them for push this war say more reach the final end. So I want to remind when I say this number it be classified. So anything we get for send and they for talk, just go ahead. So just be confident when you talk. So those the way they get something they want to call when I get for do them quite soon because you know the program get a limited time where it get for end. Even though so if you get some question, you will come again next week and because every Sunday, as you know, we're there for 8 p.m. Amba time. So we will now try for touch some the questions and some contributions and we will not read one so that it will help for also expand we struggle further because as you understand this issue so we fight together, get the idea the whole and get especially for ground zero whole and know better, then we try for disseminate and for share with the others so that we get strength and then we push them to go. All right, thanks very much. Dr. Comrade Wabe, we had some reactions here, which include the issue of retaliation, especially with the presence of some of the Anglophones, Francophones, precisely, they talk about the people from the West Province in our land, believing that, okay, these are the people who are like struggling to enable the enemy and the barbarians to continue persecuting our people. And they frown at the issue because there have been indiscriminate killing, especially to civilians, and they feel that there should be a need for that kind of reaction. Then another scholar to also emphasize about the issue on of putting God first, because I think they feel say this fight now is more spiritual, just as Reverend Father Leona don't emphasize. And I think I also add my voice for say truly is be spiritual. And I'll be very happy when to where some other scholar again emphasize for you. He talks say this so may they believe in training and prayers than believing in the medicine because it's just there like before. Even if you take which kind of medicine, if you're not trained for play football, you're not gonna know how for play. If you're not trained for do something, you're not gonna know how. No matter the kind of medicine where you get them. I remember where people they write GCE cap or any odd city and get any exam where you not write that. If you're not rich, no matter the kind of talisman where you time for your way for any place, it's not gonna help you. So now the idea that where this scholar talk, we need training, and then from there put God first, and other things that will come. And I also support that point. And then I think if we recall one thing where the scholar be talk, he just try for make us so understand say this so we need to actually make we boys them for be very much aware, especially the idea of going to public places and believing in the fact that they get something where they guide them like matango or some spiritual thing or some kind of medicine, traditional medicine. So some of the contribution they be so good and I feel they don't really inspire me. So I don't know, comrade Dr. Wabe, I think I'll leave over to you because my colleague Dr. Comrade Yaya also get something we will add to in regards to way they don't contribute for this short time over the phone. Thank you.
What?
Yeah,
thank you for that short summary, Dr. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, I think so. We time almost run out. Yeah, we'll continue next week. But I want to say those concerns that we heard, the Department of Home Affairs and the DSC, the way they deal with security, they will get that feedback. I'm sure it'll be the first time where they don't hear. So we'll make sure so we'll pass that message back. But the other thing where the president not always tell we and say, more no hurt another civilian, because the whole world see always it happen. For them for just come out kill Pekin and down a genocide, the Pekin not do anything. They not be even soldiers, not be then the way the fit say that they attack them. So those things are being recorded, and these people they go face the international court, criminal court. So we also follow this Geneva Convention. So would he say make civilian not take another arm against civilian, no matter the pain? When we say we be righteous, we need to stand and get that standard, and then leave the rest for defense and homeland security to deal with them. Okay, so we feel una pain, we feel the frustration. We extend our condolence for the families as President not talk but we have to stay resolute. More no give up. Thank you.
Okay, Reverend Leonga, you got anything for talk? For your last statement then. Reverend Leonga, last statements, closing remark. You got any closing remark? Last statement. Okay, Reverend Leonga, you got anything for talk?
Reverend, we not hear you. You be muted. Uh-oh. Check your volume,
Sorry
Reverend.
about that.
Okay.
I'm on now. Is it okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. As I said, got solution that there is a Nigerian artist who is going to put on the show on the 14th in Boya, February 14th, and I think they should take into consideration that as well. Then, what I want to conclude is that somebody talked of some people who are not men of God. I will tell you, my brothers and sisters, the Bible makes it clear in the letter 1. It makes it clear that not many should become teachers. Not many should become teachers. As you know, we teachers will be judged with greater strictness than others. Then when James was talking, when the letter was addressed to James as teachers, they were talking of men of God. So many should become men of God because they'll be judged more stricter than any other person. So that's the message I'm giving to any person who is standing against the wish of the people. Any person who is putting on a royal garment and standing against his people, who is standing and oppressing his people, who is with the oppressor, remember what God is telling you, that you will be with the other people, because you are called to be a martyr. You are called to die for the people. You are not called to live with the people. We are called to be martyrs. I am Charles Luanga of the Cross, the Martyrs of Uganda. I changed my name to the Martyrs of Uganda, from Luanga to Luanga, Charles Luanga of the Cross, because I want to bear the pain. I want to share the cross of Christ. I want to share with the suffering. I want to share with those who don't have the opportunity to stand in and talk. That's why I can come here and talk, because where they are, they cannot talk. So I'm calling on every so-called man of God. Your first mission is for the people. Your first mission is for Christ, and Christ left his heavenly glory to come and die for his people. Christ left his heavenly glory to come and be an example, one who abandoned every riches he had in heaven to come and die for the people. Like some of us left poor families, became men of God, and we are extracting those people who are supposed to lead to God. We are instead extracting them. We are becoming fat from their blood. But I tell you, the blood of the innocent do not allow you to prosper, because the blood of the innocent is crying for vengeance, and vengeance will surely come. So all of you who stand and preach the word of God, and you think you can support the devil in all their action, I tell you, the time of reckoning is coming. I have no fear if you can write against me anymore. If I lost anything, but I know I'm standing for the people, and the people's freedom is what will take me to heaven.
Yes.
Okay, Colonel Waters, you get closing remarks.
Oh yes, now just for remind the people the way they don't do this contribution, say, especially as they emphasize about the issue of RPG. Of course, they feel understand say this, so with the progress with this war, and we'll be there in those days now with then guns, now we get arms, and now say this, so certain things that they will not fit talk on for here. but we dey take am very serious, and we will carry am forward, because na una dey for ground and una know wetin wey una need and how the thing get for be. So consequently, na whether you see, we want say una will get direct contact with the presidency and for ground zero, so that through this way now, all the other organs, they will fit be strengthened, and they will fit get a better way of approaching this issue that will make am very short. And then also for the issue for the different contribution, the one that don't do am, of course, we know about the enablers, and we understand very well, say, make them understand, say, all the way they do them, they see them. Just the fact that when I don't identify them and when I don't already make them to understand, I think they get for start consider themselves now, because now no be time again for joke. Now no be the time again for safari tour. Now serious matter. A serious matter when blood don't fall. So they get for understand, say, all these ideas we don't bring them, we take them very serious. And I think say that, so we need for intensify with prayers now very seriously for all other regions, because we know it's a spiritual battle. And then just to put in some one or two things again, I just say we just want for say we thank all una don't watch this program, and just for remind when I say those when they not be able to reach your question because of time, you please send your question, or if you call again at any time, we will record them and then we will push them forward, and then we'll share. So now the number that way will be classified for presidency. Just for telling us that, so we really like the way things that go. And remember, say tomorrow na ghost town again. We not say Sako in particular. Na number na Mami Water ghost town where they go be tomorrow. And just for make them for understand, say no ticket, no they will go buy them. So they will just come with their nonsense, go back with empty hand. And I think that way we want to make them for understand, so we don't get money for waste and for foolish things. Then we get money for do some better things than they. So just want to make again say this, so those the way they know us do contribution, as you understand, we'll make them to understand, say, no worry, second phase again for contribution for the draft will soon emerge, and then we will now understand exactly how to go about that. But all the same, we'll get for empower with counties, we'll plead them and continue for support for different ways. And also want for thank all those the way they don't really take part for this evening for today, especially my able colleague on the other side, as well as the host and all the technicians for background. Say this, so today be being one of those days I will forget for talk long, but the time short. So next time again, things I won't know if it be labor, we will bring them up next week. So may they always tune on 8 p.m. Amba time from, so that we'll get information for down, and we'll try to see how we build revolution together. But all to one I don't talk, I want to when I say we don't take them forward, and we'll go soon here for we. Thank you very much.
Comrade,
thank you so much.
Just a quick one. Sorry, just quick. We just want to remind people, they say we get ABC Amba TV app, which only costs $10. You pay $10 for 1 year. We beg me everybody try subscribe so that we maintain and support with TV, where they do a very marvelous job. And number two, we just want to remind one again of the president, the outing where they happen once every month. So we'll get the next session coming on a month's time. So we inform everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Ground Zero. Good night.
All right, my own closing remark, I'm leaving it to a caller from who has a closing remark. Caller, if you leave my remark, no, talk for me.
Yeah, Doctor, thank you so much. And I want to greet all una sacrifice, una time and everything for come and this share what you will struggle be for every other Ambazonia where they follow with for this media. And I just want to say, I want to thank especially Dr. Yaya, because you asked Dr. Yaya some questions, and Dr. Yaya, as he say, answer say, Ambazonia no be for sale. And they say, we only continue to do what we will do, but make sure say, we will do them to the best of our ability. I think that the best in that way, Ambazonia, they get for do, and try for draft as much as they fit draft. Not just be say because president or the government we don't talk say now 1,000, make some man only give now 1,000 now we say okay now so we day. And also no be the fact that some man no get 1,000, you know, if you give 100 because you know we get the rest. Give anything where you think then so that we will fight this war. And then we get for try for begin to look for strategies too, because when we even improve on the skills the way they did, La Republic is off their own game, it be like say we know they do no nothing, and for sure like say we know they even use the money. So we only get now for the change, we get them. Then the app for the ABC, we not get the one for iOS, and that one don't begin to take time plenty. I don't know why. And then the last thing I want to talk now say, since Dr. Yayado also talked, we get to think about human rights abuses and fight against civilians. All right, we feel only talk say we go fight now. The people that were they bring all these the Republic people that were there for we. All the deals and the SDOs and the governors, they fight against them. Make sure they go. There are people that will follow them. Thank you.
Hey, my brother, thank you. Yeah, hey, Ground Zero, we love you. See you next week, 8 p.m. Amba time, Sunday. And don't forget to download the app. Comrade Waters, Dr. Ya, Oben, Miao.
Thank you.
This land of glory, we the Amazonians pledge our loyalty. Presence to our Savior who granted us the freedom. Our legends to the hero who bowed the lonely diablo. Glory to glory, we rising never to fall. Here in our nation, flowing with earth and holy. For making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be